Meeting to order, please. Roll call, B.
Here. Here.
Yes, yeah.
Here.
Here. Okay, in honor of Flag Day this evening, I think we'd like to all stand up and say the pledge. Rose, face the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you.
Let's make a motion.
Okay, first order of business tonight will be the acceptance of the minutes from May 24th, 2022. Anybody have a chance to review?
Yes.
Any revisions,
No.
amendments? No? Can I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes as written?
Pete, I don't believe that I voted on the first,
Vivian?
the Erica and Kurt Rotten. I believe I came in late because my car broke down.
Oh, that's it. You didn't get here on time?
I didn't.
Yeah,
vote
it
on
sounds right, because I
that
feel like we
first.
gave them the option to wait 2 weeks.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have
I
to
just-
correct that, right?
I apologize, but he told me that had passed when I walked and sat down.
So you
Okay.
can still amend, you can still approve it as amended.
Yeah. All right.
Don't
So-
want to, I'm
Keeping
just,
it honest.
So we'll make the correction to the minutes and we'll approve as amended. Could I have a motion to approve as amended, please?
a motion to approve as amended.
A second?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, second order of business tonight, public hearing, appeal number 227755, area variance, Jorge Luis Moreno and Maria N. Jimenez, seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R20/40 zoning district. Where 50 feet to the rear property line is required, the applicant can provide 3.5 feet for the legalization of an existing 22-foot by 15.5-foot deck, thus requesting a variance of 46.5 feet. Where 10 feet to the rear property line is required, the applicant can provide 5 feet for the legalization of an existing 8-foot by 10-foot shed, thus requesting a variance of 5 feet. The property is located at 17 Peters Road and is identified as tax grid number 635703013029 in the town of Wappinger. Could I have a motion, please, to open the public hearing?
Motion open public
Have
hearing.
a second?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Maria here tonight? Would you kindly please step up to the microphone? I know how you love that so much. Yeah, again, you know the routine, right? For the benefit of the board and anybody who might be listening in, just give us a brief description of what you need and why you need it. Just a brief description of what you kind of have here.
Oh, a description of what I have in
Yeah.
my house, in the patio?
Yeah, just you have a shed, I'm sorry, you have an existing deck that you'd like to legalize, an existing shed that you would like to legalize. Right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we could do with it, that's pretty much what we need. Okay, so, we all had a chance, we came out and we looked and we saw what you got going on. You have some unique features of your property, right, that makes some of the setbacks tough to get. We all realize that, and we know that. We asked you to go back and correct some of the measurements from the last time you were here, which you've done.
Yes.
And we see that you've done that, and now that the proper footages are noted, for the record, which was very important, that we got that done, get it straight, because it would only create a lot of angst down the road for somebody, right? I don't have any other specific questions unless you guys do. I know we were all there, we all kind of see what's going on, we see what you got going on with the property lines. I don't know if you guys have any other questions? Anybody?
I mean, just comment, I mean, it is a huge variance for the deck.
It is.
And, I would say that if we are going to approve, it should be with the condition that it stay at the level it's at. Because I think being essentially at grade and level with the existing concrete patio portion helps
Right.
the case here. But it should not be any higher. You know, I wouldn't want to see someone come back and do a
Understood.
raised deck off the back
So
of the
I would
house.
add a condition that it cannot be built upon.
Correct.
No
Some-
railings or anything like that?
Well, if it's at
There's
grade.
railings on it now.
I mean,
Right.
does it have
Yeah,
railings?
I think
now?
so.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but you wouldn't want to see it screened in and made a room down the road.
correct. And
Then
plus,
it's
you know,
close
it
to
did
the property line.
duly noted that, you know, your property lines and your property size, you know, make it unique in some ways that would be different from other properties. Because like, as David had mentioned, you know, the variances that you're seeking are quite substantial. However, there are circumstances on your property that may not exist on others. And if we, you know, go ahead and move forward with this, we would, you know, impose some conditions. So that being said, there's any other questions from the board? Anybody in the audience have any comments or questions regarding this application? Okay, then I'll make a motion or could I have a motion, please, to close the public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing?
Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. All right, so now we move forward. Could I have, and we were going to have to deal with the two variances, right? So then can I have a motion, please, to grant or deny the applicant the variances, and we'll address them separately?
It's cleaner if you do a roll call separately.
Okay.
There are two separate structures.
Correct, and we'll have to address those separately. So then again, can I have a motion, please, to grant or deny the applicant the variance? I'll make a motion to grant the applicant, let's address the deck first. Grant the applicant the variance on the deck. Whether the benefit can be achieved by any other feasible means, no, I don't believe it can. Does it create any undesirable effects to your neighborhood or your adjoining properties? No, it does not. Whether the request is substantial, yes, it is. It's very substantial, but as I had mentioned previously, there's some unique, you know, qualities of your property that kind of confine you on what you can actually do in your yard. So it is substantial, but not enough for me to deny the variance. Whether the request will have any adverse effects or adverse physical or environmental effects, no, it will not. And whether the difficulty is self-created, yes, it is. I also want to note that, as David had mentioned, you know, that along with this granting the variance on the deck, we would impose a restriction that no deck or no other features can be built upon the deck, and the deck would need to stay at its current level. Okay, so that now is, Barbara, should we vote separately or
Vote for
together?
that
Okay.
and then do the shed.
Okay, all right, so that all being said then, can I have a second to
I'll second.
approve?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please, B.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes. All right, so the deck has been approved, right? Okay, your deck is approved, right? We have to do the shed now, right? So, again, now, as for the shed, I'm gonna read this one more time, too. Where 10 feet to the rear property line is required, the applicant can provide 5 feet for the legalization of an existing 8x10 shed, thus requesting a variance of 5 feet. The property is located again at 17 Peters Road, is identified tax grid number 6357-030133029 in the town of Wappinger. Okay, so again, the shed now where it's placed is, again, it's a very large variance you're asking for, but again, the property lines are difficult to do anything other. So I am going to make a motion to grant the applicant the variance on the shed. I don't believe the benefit could have been achieved by any other means feasible. Any undesirable change to the neighborhood? No, it would not. The request, again, is substantial, but not enough, in my view, to deny the variance. Whether the request would have an adverse effect on environmental effect, it will not. And whether the alleged difficulty is self-created, again, yes, it is. But I will make a motion to, grant the applicant the variance for the shed. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please, B.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
And I would be yes as well. I guess we covered that. Okay, so your variances have been granted, and you're free to go.
So just so you know, tomorrow, B will do what she does after things are approved. It will go to the building department, and it will take a few days, and then they'll call you to pick up your permits,
Oh, okay,
okay? But they'll call you in a few days.
okay, so she's supposed to call me, Bea?
Yes, not B, someone in the building
Oh,
department.
somebody from the
will call
building,
you.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Good night. Good night. All right, next up on the agenda, appeal number 227757, area variance. John O'Selvin seeking area variance section 24037 of district regulations in an R20 zoning district where 20 feet to the left yard property line is required. The applicant can provide 10 feet, for the legalization of a 12 by 21 metal carport, thus requesting a variance of 10 feet. The property is located at 19 Sabre Lane and is identified as tax grid number 6258-02-935-954 in the town of Wappinger. Can I have a motion, please? Open the public hearing.
Motion to open public
Can I
hearing.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Mr. O'Sullivan, would you please step up to the microphone? For the benefit of anybody who might be listening in and in the audience, just give a brief description of what you need and why you need it.
It's a carport just to protect the cars from the weather and to be able to work on them without myself being in the sun. And in the winter, it also helps with the other cars that you can just drive them in case it snows or hails or sleets. So,
I take you might be able to drop an airplane on that thing and it'll still stand up.
right,
Yes.
right. I got nothing but the best.
Quite a substantial structure, as we all saw. As we went out to the property on Saturday, we all got a look. Did you got a look at the
Yes, I
carport
went
as well?
Sunday, right.
And see what you got going on. We did revise a couple of these dimensions, if I remember correctly, right, from the last time?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
off by a foot. You had to
Yes.
find the foot, so it
Yes.
was amended
Correct.
once we did the math correctly.
Gotcha. And we see that the correct measurements are here. Pretty straightforward. Again, I know you mentioned to us that the carport has been up since 2018, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been up for a couple of years as well. I don't have any other questions for Mr. O'Sullivan unless you guys do.
I had a
Ready?
question.
Go ahead.
Just for the board, and Barbara. The shed, the structure itself, can we condition it that it's removable after Mr.,
You can
Oh, s-
condition that if and when this is removed, that whatever goes there would have to meet the setback. So a little bit smaller, it would meet the setback. So, but you can put on anything when you're giving a variance that once the current structure is removed, the variance is based on that and does not transfer to somebody replacing it in kind.
Right, I think if I'm reading
Is
your
that the
question,
question?
whether if we can condition that it be removed and not replaced, is that correct?
well,
That would be denying the variance.
Yeah.
If you deny it, he
Yeah.
has to remove it
Right,
or shrink it. And if
Right.
it's built the way you just all said,
Right.
that would probably not be possible.
gotcha.
If you choose to approve it,
Mhm.
you could approve it on its face,
Mhm.
and that means that someday somebody else could take it down and put a shed there with sides or a garage. Or you can condition it, should you want to approve it, that when this comes down in the future, nothing else can go there that won't meet or it has to meet setbacks.
Anything that goes there would need to meet the current setbacks. Gotcha. Okay,
So those
Or
are
they
your
could seek a
options.
new variance.
What?
Or they could seek a new variance?
No, so just say John sells the place in 10 years, and somebody buys it and wants an enclosed
Right.
detached garage, or even an attached garage, they won't make the setback if this is approved tonight. So in your condition, they would either have to shorten if it's attached to the house to meet the setback, or they'd have to build something under 144 square feet, so they'd only need 10 feet. So anything under 144 square feet only needs 10 to the side, 10 to the rear, no matter where they live. If it's over 144 square feet that this is, then it needs to meet whatever the setback of the zone is. And in his case, it's 20 feet to the side, which he couldn't match.
Right. Got it.
But I was thinking more along with Pete there, so thank you, Mark. That if Mr. O'Sullivan decides that he wants to sell his place, that the variance shouldn't stay once he sells.
I don't know if you can enforce that. You're
Yeah.
giving the variance to the
Kind of
structure.
lives to
You
the
can't,
property.
it's kind of like a variance with a clock on it.
But we could say
It's
that it
attached to the
cannot be
property.
modified or enclosed.
It can't be modified, it can't be replaced, you can do that.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But to put a clock on it, it would be hard, even in our records, to follow that. So I wouldn't want someone to buy it and 5 years later, they find out they have a violation due to the clock.
Right,
Right.
Not
Okay.
fair to the new buyer.
I get it.
Okay, just a question.
Sure, good question.
All right, any other questions in the audience for Mr. O'Sullivan?
Just so we're clear and we walk out of here with the same mindset, if I decide to sell the place, I can sell it with the carport as it stands today.
You're jumping the gun, they haven't agreed to let you keep it.
Okay,
So you can ask that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here. Take a look. Hold it there. So if there's no more questions from the board or the audience, can I have a motion, please, to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close? the-
Second.
Second. All in favor? So moved. Okay, could I have a motion then, please, to deny or grant the applicant the variance?
I make a motion to grant, to grant it. The request for the variance is large, but I don't expect that to be that will be impact any character of surrounding, because it's existing for a while. There are some other feasibility way we could achieve. I don't think so, because of the limited space you have. The proposed variance would not have any adverse impact on environment as it is open. And one thing I like to make sure that this carport stays open, so it could not be enclosed wall. Anything else anybody want to say?
No, I think that was the condition we wanted to
Right.
impose, that we will grant the variance, but it'll have the condition that the variance will now and forever remain an open carport.
that's fine, yeah.
So based on that, I think this one is self-created, but even though it's self-created, I think we can grant the permission. So I'm okay with it.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please, B.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, so your variance has been granted. And at the other applicant, you might have to have a little homework or no homework?
No, you're done for now, and yes, your answer, you get to keep it. And the building department will call you in a few days, once all the paperwork goes from a denial to an approval and they issue you the permit. One of the clerks will call you.
Okay?
Okay.
And it can stay up after I leave. Okay, good.
Correct.
It is a selling feature to the house. I will look at it that way.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, no further business before this board tonight. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. So moved. We are adjourned.
All right.